Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR. What scene in a movie really pissed you off? In one of the G.I. Joe films, there is an explosion underwater and the ice at the top falls down and starts landing on the underwater base. Ice floats. I immediately noticed it when I first saw that movie, but at that point it just made me laugh more than anything. That whole movie and its sequel were just pure silliness. I still kinda wish they'd made a third movie though. I always suspected that Greater Than Dr. Mindbender had secretly mind-controlled the guy who became Cobra Commander with nanomachines as soon as he entered the bunker and was the power behind the throne this entire time. Lesson. Guess I'll never know. I like that you believe your headcanons to Hardy spoiler tagged it, just in case it was the real ending. How dare you let facts into a G.I. Joe movie! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. *C G.I. Joe movie. Yeah, let The Rock kill someone with a folded piece of paper. Isn't paper his weakness? Any scene in the Terminator films where the Terminator shoots a gun and misses. You're telling me Skynet can build intelligent machines and they figured out time travel yet they can't be programmed to aim straight? There was a scene in one of the recent Terminator movies, can't remember which one, when the Terminator of the week starts choking somebody but they eventually get free. What the frick? As if the Terminator would be like, I've got my hand around his neck. Might as well restrict airflow for a slow death, frick no. The moment the fingers curled around the neck they wouldn't stop until his hand was a closed fist. For me it was when a Terminator gets their hands on someone and then throws them. They have a hydraulic press grip. They could literally crush someone's skull with one hand, while barely paying attention. If they get their hands on you, and they want you dead, you're dead, because that's what they are. T1 and T2 didn't have this problem, and were so much more intense for it. This has always bothered me. I've worked with enough robotics engineers to deeply respect how carefully they design everything for this to not happen on accident. Limit switches, encoders, pressure sensors, rangefinders, etc. It all has to be triply checked, rigorously tested, and thoroughly reviewed to ensure an autonomous forklift in a warehouse doesn't rip you in half because of a split-second mistake. A combat robot picks you up and throws you. After reading about this trope, it instantly breaks immersion in any fight scene that I am watching. And worse, it's everywhere. Terminator is one of the movies also specifically mentioned in the tropes examples. Just hit him. TV tropes. After reading about this trope, it instantly breaks immersion in any fight scene that I am watching. And worse, it's everywhere. What? You expect me to have this violence orgasm only a few seconds after the fight begins? Gotta turn the lights down, put on some slow music, and bang him up for a bit first. When Han Solo died, Leia goes and hugs Rey who she barely knows and ignores Chewie walking by. Edit. Oh crap, someone golded me, thanks. Thanks for reminding me about that. It's in character, she didn't give Chewie a medal either. She's racist against Wookiees. Will somebody get this walking carpet out of my way? You can tell a lot about someone when they're stressed. I'd just as soon kiss a Wookiee. Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan. The first race in the first Cars movie. Chick Hicks is just causing crashes left and right. He puts every single car out of commission except for himself, Strip Weathers, and Lightning McQueen, and nobody says a goddamn thing. Everything is peachy keen until the very end when he almost kills Strip. And freaking then, when Lightning is pushing Strip across the finish line, right after Chick bumps him and nearly killed him, the announcers have the freaking gall to say, "Is pushing on the last lap legal?" Seriously, this car almost killed another car going 200 miles per hour. And they're worried about another car helping the aforementioned car finish the race. And then they hand the goddamn piston cup to the car that has been systematically murdering other cars all season. Jesus Christ, that freaking movie. That cheating wobbly butt asshole really hated how they kept letting him get away with it. Castle. Piston cup, tears of joy. He did what in his cup? Not a specific movie, but I hate it when a character is trying to be sneaky, but they're also having a conversation with someone that the person they're hiding from could Easily here example, in Back to the Future 2. When Marty is hiding in the back of Biff's car whilst shouting at Doc Brown into a walkie-talkie. In defense of one of my favorite movies of all time, convertibles are loud and Biff had the radio cranked up over the wind. 2. In general though, I hear ya. Biff was cruising and jamming in his car. I forgive him for not thinking anyone was in his backseat. Papa loves Mambo. Quote. John Wick. When Viggo knocks John out but then ties him up instead of just killing him. I know that the bad guy not taking the opportunity to kill the hero is a common thing. But killing John is literally Viggo's only goal. John has nothing that Viggo needs. And Viggo himself delivered a huge speech about what an unstoppable badass John is. If anybody should have taken the opportunity to kill John while he was defenseless, it's Viggo. But he is Viggo. You are like the tilde biting tilde buzzing of flies to him. Scourge of Carpathia. Death is but a door, time is but a window, I'll be back. John didn't even save himself. It was Marcus. If John had saved himself I would agree, but since he had a guardian angel that Viggo didn't know about, it makes sense to me. Also, it's not like Viggo used a convoluted Bond-esque machine to slowly drown him or something. It was a suffocation. Pretty standard hit John. Imagine not just shooting him in the head. After all that, just freaking crap him if you want him to die. There's no discretion anymore, and strangling somehow allows John to fight the dude killing him, which we've established he's pretty good at. I know it's just a typo, but now all I can think about is John Wick crapping people to death. Any scene in Harry Potter that could be completely and easily solved with magic they've already demonstrated in the previous films. It's like they forget every spell they've ever learned except the one the story wants them to use. Honestly, as the movies progress, all spells just blast. There's no reason for any specific spells anymore because no matter what spells the characters are shouting, they all just blast the other person. Like, Stupefy is a stunning spell, and in the late movies it literally just blasts people backwards into walls and crap. Or in Crimes of Grindelwald, where the Auror kills that rally attendee. There are so many stunning or disarming spells, and I doubt that the Ministry is letting their law enforcement go around using spells that are literally known as unforgivable. I blame David Yates for most of those, since that issue only crops up once he started directing the franchise. Death Eaters flying for spooky effect always bothered me. Book 7 made a big deal of how Voldemort was flying on his own. Frick, all they needed was a shotgun and the invisibility cloak. See if he can survive that. Something Harry Potter should have carried in 1911. Okay, this has been driving me crazy for 7 movies now, and I know you're going to roll your eyes, but hear me out. Harry Potter should have carried in 1911. Here's why. Think about how quickly the entire WWWIII Wizarding World War III would have ended if all of the good guys had simply armed up with good old American hot lead. Basilisk. Let's see how tough it is when you shoot it with a .470 Nitro Express. Worried about its Medusa gaze? Wear night vision goggles. The image is light amplified and retransmitted to your eyes. You aren't looking at it, you're looking at a picture of it. Imagine how epic the first movie would be if Harry had put a breaching charge on the bathroom wall, flashbanged a hole, and then went in wearing NVGs and a Kevlar weave stab vest, carrying a SPAS 12. And have you noticed that only Europe seems to have a problem with Death Eaters? Maybe it's because Americans have spent the last 200 years shooting deer, playing GTA, Vice City, and keeping an eye out for black helicopters over their compounds. Meanwhile, Brits have been cutting their steaks with spoons. Remember, gun control means that Voldemort wins. God made wizards and God made muggles, but Samuel Colt made them equal. Now I know what you're going to say, but a wizard could just disarm someone with a gun. Yeah, well they can also disarm someone with a wand, as they do many times throughout the books, movies. But which is faster, saying a spell or pulling a trigger? Avada Kedavra, meet Aftermath Kalashnikova. Imagine Harry out in the woods, wearing his invisibility cloak, carrying a .50 BMG Barrett, turning Death Eaters into pink mist, scratching a lightning bolt into his rifle stock for each kill. I don't think Madame Pomfrey has any spells that can scrape your brains off of the trees and put you back together after something like that. Voldemort's wand may be 13.5 inches with a phoenix feather core, but Harry's would be 0.50 inches with a tungsten core. Let's see Voldy wave his at 3,000 feet per second. Better hope you have some essence of Dittany for that sucking chest wound. I can see it now, Voldemort roaring with evil laughter and boasting to Harry that he can't be killed, since he is protected by 7 Horcruxes, only to have Harry give a crooked grin, flick his cigarette butt away, and deliver what would easily be the best one-liner in the entire series. Well then I guess it's a good thing my 1911 holds 7 + 1. And that is why Harry Potter should have carried a 1911. I get so annoyed that the second movie makes a big deal about Harry using magic outside of Hogwarts. 5th movie too. And then the 3rd movie starts with him practicing spells in his bedroom. Yeah, that's a movie thing. In the books he's got a torch that he uses to write his history of magic essay while the Dursleys are asleep. And he's scared of getting dots of ink on the sheets. I don't think the films ever quite put across just how scared Harry was of the Dursleys in their early books and how much he hates going back there in the later ones. It also bothers me that they have so much magic power to watch Harry, so they must be fully aware he's abused, yet no one gives a crap. Wizarding society is awful in many ways, making this largely unsurprising. Dumbledore is the only one in the wizarding world who knows Harry must live there, yet no one even questions it at all, despite him being abused for 10 years, bullied for more, and neglected for the rest. In Office Space, when Milton didn't get his slice of cake, still bothers me 21 years later. He did greater than burn down the office though, and rightly so, bless them. Now Milton, don't be greedy, let's pass it along and make sure everyone gets a piece. And then she doesn't pass the last piece. First scene in the Artemis Fowl movie shows the main character, who is notoriously unathletic and uncoordinated in the books, riding some waves on a surfboard. My sister made it 10 minutes into that film. Text me to say it's crap and not to bother. Then reread the books to purge it from her memory. The only good thing about that movie was that it got me reread all the books. For me the worst part was when he proclaimed himself a criminal mastermind, despite having committed no crimes, and being upset at the idea that his daddy might be a criminal. Also everything up to that point. Upset at the idea that his daddy might be a criminal. Excuse me, literally half the point of his scheme in the first book was to surpass all previous fouls by stealing from the fair folk. How do you miss the point that badly? The Artemis Fowl movie absolutely butchered the book story. It was a complete crap show. What's worse, is that I believe there is a full movie, completely faithful to the books, filmed and shown to Disney's heads. And the corporate buttheads thought Artemis can't be shown as a bad guy. Hence all the rewrites. Another part that they actually completely left out was Butler fighting a troll in plate mail. And guess who beats him? Artemis, with the power of friendship and a fairy gun. Because apparently that's better than a freaking massive guy in medieval plate mail bearing the crap out of a troll. They took the troll fight out. That was the best part of the book. That was the main reason I wanted an Artemis Fowl movie. What the crap. It's been 18 years since I saw that movie, and this was still the first thing that popped into my head. I was the only dude watching the movie with 3 or 4 girls, and went, what the frick? When this scene happened, I was the only one that was bothered by it, and the girls didn't seem to think there was anything wrong with it. Still bugs me to this day. I'm glad to see I'm not the only one that thinks it was completely fricked. Male rape is a joke in movies and it's disgusting. Yeah, I was like, can you not see that he's tied up, you selfish C-word? That's pretty much what I was thinking too. My, both female, best childhood friend thought it was funny and I was very uncomfortable. Same with Wedding Crashers. The guy gets raped by Isla Fisher's character, and yet the movie portrays the actors bringing them closer. Also, when Harley rapes Nightwing in Batman and Harley Quinn, that scene is literally made for comic relief. The frick was up with that? Swap the genders on the scene from Wedding Crashers, and instead of a romantic comedy, you have an episode of Law and Order, SVU. Every scene where Percy's face appeared on my screen in the Green Mile. That indicates the actor did a good job. So punchable. Thanks for watching LWIAR, the best of recent r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out LWIAR too, and don't forget to like and subscribe.